Okay. Obviously, you can't give up 21 points on turnovers that happen in a moment's notice, and then get 2 turnovers yourself and not be able to score. I mean, that's kind of the tail of the game there a little bit. I thought we did a nice job in certain areas. We were able to run for 200 and something yards. So got the running game going. Defensively, we held them to 90 yards, but these explosive plays that occurred were things that ultimately, kind of led to the situation where we just couldn't recover. And it's a good Miami team. They played well and they capitalized, and we didn't capitalize when we needed to. Question.
28. 3 interceptions and a fumble return.
Yeah, the fumble on Grayson. What I'm talking about is the early part of their first scores were just kind of like, obviously the first play of the game, you can't have that, and then the 2 turnovers after that just led to quick scores. And then, like I said, it's you play hard, you do some good things, but you got to be consistent in doing the things that are going to give you a chance to win against a good team like this. And we didn't do well enough or good enough.
Obviously, the interceptions have become a problem for David later in the season. Is he trying too hard to make a play, do you think?
The first one was one that ill-advised throw. Throw it into the ground. Throw it over his head. The second one, as I saw, hit the receiver in the hands. It was a dry day. It was a wet day. You can characterize, the ball being slippery, whatever it is, but when it hits a hand, it's got to be able to catch it. I'm not quite sure on the third one, what happened, but obviously as a quarterback, you got to take care of the ball. I mean, that's the number one priority. And when you don't do that, then bad things happen, for the offense, and then ultimately it happens, for the score and how we're playing and the overall part of the game. So, David has to play better, and we've said that. I thought that Grayson came in and did a nice job. It was unfortunate on the sack that occurred with a sack fumble, and they scooped and scored. It just started raining. It pours, when things like that happen. But I think he came in and gave us a spark. It was good to see Taquan Mazzell do some nice things, a catch for a touchdown, a run for a touchdown. So there's some positive things that occurred out there. It does take the wind out of your sail. When you're driving and you feel like you're in control, and all of a sudden, something happens and just the opposite effect of what was something positive. Now you have to deal with something negative, and we've been trying to deal with adversity as we've been going on through this season, and that was something that happened that we just didn't respond well to.
By the same token, you're on the 40 after you get a turnover, you're down 2 scores, and you can't move the ball.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it's disappointing not to be able to turn those turnovers into points. And and like I said, when you're playing good football teams, you can't afford, not to capitalize on on turnovers that our defense causes.
Like Miami had 2 big plays in the passing game, like you mentioned, Joe White played this one. How much did Calhoun play back there and 2 tackles for loss?
Well,
Like everything was running better than the line.
Obviously, it helps a lot when you have one of your better players on your team. Brendan's a very good football player, and he had a lot of plays that drew double teams, but also the tackles for losses, as you talked about. And the base level of conditioning kind of took him a while, to get acclimated to the game. But I thought, that he did a good job. So when you have one of your run stoppers in there playing well, it does add to your rush defense.
You may have had, you obviously had a better look than any of us did. I think you took Anthony Harris out of the game. What are your thoughts on that?
I have to be careful about how I answer these things with the emotions of after the game. But from what I saw, it looked like it was a hit that it was also contributed by the quarterback sliding. So it's a difficult call to make when your defender is going to tackle someone and the quarterback starts to slide and then creates the contact himself. And there are rules that we have in place to protect defenseless players as we characterize them. And but I think we'll talk about the different aspects of that happening, because as it stands right now, then Anthony is out for the first half of the next game.
What do you think about that rule? Placeholders, it's all the day.
They yeah. Well, they called one on them as well, and theirs was overturned. Again, I believe in having rules that will protect defenseless players. But we also have to make sure that the intent of the rule or the intent of the tackler is also taken account for. So, but like I said, those are things that as coaches we address with the ACC office, and we just have to come to some sort of conclusion or rationale as to those things that happen on the field.
What was the first place supposed to be?
Just a bubble.
Seen the guy coming?
A bubble screen, read, a run bubble screen check, and obviously, having an awareness. Their defender went from high to low, and if anything, maybe throw the ball on the ground or throw it out of bounds. I mean, it was an ill-advised throw.
On Watford's second interception right before halftime, how much of the momentum kill was that play?
The question was just raised about here you are, the game is competitive, and then all of a sudden the ball goes off of the receiver's hand, and then they catch it and they go to distance there. Just the sudden turn of events with the field change, from where it is to all of a sudden where it ends up. I mean, again, that's disappointing, and whether it's a drop or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's something that you can't self-inflict yourself when you get down in those areas to give yourself a chance to win, to score points, and we didn't do that today.
Let's take a couple more questions because the players are coming up the locker room. Coach, you had your running game going in the first half, and in the third quarter, when it was still competitive before you really had to throw, it wasn't working. What happened?
You start they did a good job of adjusting to what we were doing. But at the same time, you start to fall behind a little bit, and you want to make sure that in your third down situations or your first and second down situations that you're at those makeable third downs. And so, we tried to throw the ball a little bit, and I'll go back and count maybe how many drops that we had. It looked like there were a few more than what we anticipated. But whether it's raining, whether it's sunshine, or whatever it is, I mean, the ball hits you in the hands. You got to be able to come down with it and catch it. But you definitely have to be productive, in that running game, and we weren't productive enough in the second half, as you alluded to.
With Grayson moving the ball well towards the end, do you consider giving him more minutes now if one game with any conceding?
Well, we got one game left, and we'll go in and we'll grade this tape. The offensive guys will look at how David played, how Grayson played, and towards the end there. We wanted to play a football game. We could have ran the timeout and all those things, but I wanted Grayson, and there were two freshman tackles, a freshman guard, but I wanted them to get an opportunity to play in a game. And I thought that Grayson did a nice job moving the ball, moving the team. So we'll look at practice and we'll look at the tape, and we're going to do what's best for the football team. That's the main point. But as I said, I saw some improvement from guys that had a chance to step up and play.